Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today I'm not going to be discussing fixing the lawnmower, nor am I going to explore my love of Street Fighter 6, because yesterday was my birthday, my 39th birthday. I'm now in my 40th year of corporeal human existence on this planet, and I think I have just learned a crucial lesson, and I hope it sticks with me, and that is that I am safe. Last night, after a day going to an arcade in North Shields with Charmanar on the Discord server, or Rob of Redbeard Tours in Newcastle, shameless plug there, and having also actually first thing in the morning given blood, had a couple of needles in my arms for blood tests. In the evening we went to Kielder Dark Sky Observatory up in a forested designated dark sky area, 1,500 kilometers square, I think they said, patch of national park that is the darkest sky in all of Europe. And this was a birthday treat for me, but actually also it was actually particularly a treat for Rob. We sort of booked it for him, or with him in mind, but obviously it was great to go along and on my birthday be there to experience this. We went with the wonderful Mrs. Soup, with our friend Ruth as well, and it was a fantastic evening. There was a series of activities that were designed to sort of keep us occupied and interested, just in case the cloud cover finally broke, which it did about half an hour before we were meant to be leaving. So actually with 20 minutes in fact before the end of the event. It was an 8 until 11 o'clock at night event called Dark Cosmos, touching on black holes, dark matter and dark energy. It wasn't a particularly in-depth lecture or series of talks or workshops, but it was entertaining. And I also got to touch a little bit of moon rock, a moon meteorite that had struck Earth, or landed on Earth, and a little bit of Mars as well that landed here similarly. So, also a cross section of a meteorite that was completely metal, very high ferrous metal content, just sliced a little slither of it. Anyway, it was really interesting. It was really cool, and I would highly recommend, and I want to go back and I want to take my long exposure camera, because the amazing thing is the sky is so dark that I was able to take night sky pictures and capture starlight using my mobile phone, handheld even, leaning on a fence or a post to try and steady it. But I just wish I'd taken I intended to take my camera, but the battery was charging and we rushed out because we were late. Of course we were. But it's just an incredible place. We need to go back. If nothing else, we need to just go to a campsite nearby and spend a night photographing the sky. But anyway, it struck me this morning after a night like that, that I had a sense of anxiety building up within me. And that's partly because the dishwasher needed fixing. It is now fixed. In that sense, it wasn't really a massive problem. I just needed to do it, and it was done after about 20 minutes. But that was enough to make me go down this path, this very well trodden path of becoming anxious. I realized, having just done something wonderful. And that is a habit. So I'm having some trouble even actually really reflecting on this and saying it, but that was a habit that was built up over many years of observing my mum, basically. She had a really bad habit, born of years of mental health problems. As I said in previous videos, we strongly suspect, it wasn't quite diagnosed before she died, that she had borderline personality disorder. she was very unsure of herself at all times. And what this meant was that we would, if we did go out, given that our household was often quite an anxious, slightly scary place to be, with that inconsistency in our lives of her self-doubt and of her relationships with others. Sometimes, for example, I remember we went to a theatre, and we went to see a play by, I think, Tom Stoppard. And on the way home, I just remember becoming very aware that her mood was shifting and dropping. She was starting to overthink. Did we have a good time? Will we ever have a good time again? Have I provided a nurturing environment for my children? Am I a decent mother? Maybe I'm a terrible mother. Do they think I'm a terrible mother? Do you think I'm a terrible mother, boys? And she would literally start to voice this and churn over it in the car. And by the time we got home, I remember on that particular night, the joy of the event, of the evening, had been diluted, to say the least. And then the next day, the house was very grey. It was a very different place. Basically, good stuff almost always was followed by, at the very least, a massive downer, if not outright bad stuff. So in extremis, it might lead to a lot of drinking, or it might lead to smashing something in the house, or it might lead sometimes to interpersonal violence. I don't want to go into massive detail here, but suffice to say that the other day I had a terrible night's sleep. I had relived a whole series of events from my childhood. For some reason, I don't know why on earth it popped into my head. And I was talking about this with our friend Ruth, and she goes, "Oh right, well, what were you dreaming about?" And so this is all I'm going to say on this. I was like, "Oh yeah, well, I dreamt about every time Mum tried to kill us, or well, kill me, I suppose." And she goes, "What?" Like she knows I had a difficult childhood, and I rank very high on the ACEs score, the number of things that children shouldn't experience. But she was like, "Well, how?" And I said, "Well, there was attempted drowning, suffocation, stabbing. There was an attempted drive off a cliff. There was the attempt to drive off a multi-story car park. Attaching a hose to the tailpipe of the car. I just sort of listed out a few things like that. There was some worse ones as well. And she was like, "Oh my God, Mark, I had no idea." And that's okay. In that sense, I'm glad, because it means that I'm doing a good job at getting over that and being a rounded, happy person who can actually attach to other people. No, not attach. So who can relate to other people, create relationships, and not be scared of the loss of those relationships, or what I mean in the context of other people, and so on and so forth. So in that sense, I am and have grown beyond all of that. But this morning, I had that sense, that anxiety. Oh shit, something's about to happen, something's about to drop. And then, I popped to the supermarket. I got some, while I was fixing the dishwasher, I realised we needed some salt for the dishwasher, so I got some dishwasher salt. And on that journey, I spotted a snail on the car window, on the driver's side window. And initially I was like, "Oh no, come on, man, you don't want to be on this now." It's like you get up to speeds of sort of 60 miles an hour on the loop from here to the supermarket and back. And initially the snail was like, no. I tried to sort of pull it off the window. No, I'm not going anywhere. So I was like, okay, fine. So we started driving, stopped at an intermediate stop to get some milk, and the smell was starting. Like one of its little things came out. I was like, what's going on? And I was like, come on, get off the car. Come on, you need to, like, let's put you on a leaf or something. And it was like, no. By the time we got to the supermarket, it was really freaking out, climbing the car. It got on top of the car. And then even then it wouldn't come off. It was like, really, no, I'm not going anywhere. And by the time we got back home again, having done the full, gone up to 60 and whatever, it was now just fully in its shell, stuck to the top of the car. Probably a terrible experience for that poor snail, which finally I was able to pry off the top. I've left it on a leaf. In fact, just through the wall behind the camera there. It's probably just down there somewhere. And it made me think about the unnecessary holding on to fear that I was about to engage in. There was this very strong risk that I was about to go into today, given that also as well at 12:10, so in a couple of hours, well, a few hours, I have 2 hours and 10 minutes. I have 2 hours and 12 minutes. I have a dentist appointment, and I don't like the dentist. It's just a checkup. It's going to be fine. But that was another excuse, I guess, to embrace that well-trodden road, that sense that we've just had something wonderful happen, something lovely, dark sky and birthday cake and candles and friends and family, and now clearly something bad is going to happen to balance that out. That was my lived experience for let's see, 35 years, 34 years. So it's only been about 5 years without having that possibility, that reality, that unfortunately that person in my life in some capacity. So to realise that we had a lovely time, I was with friends and family, even the drive back through the dark woods, through the without cat's eyes on the roads, even that's how strict they are in terms of light pollution. Even that wasn't too bad because I had those people in the car with me, and got back at 3 o'clock. Got back at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30. Didn't get to sleep until 3. All of that stuff, it was fine because I'd been with friends and family and people who loved me, and I was safe. I am safe. And today, I'm safe. Nothing bad's going to happen. And that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. And in many ways, it's probably the best birthday present I could have possibly hoped for. I did get some lovely things in terms of my birthday. Rob 3D printed a Totoro dice tower, which is quite nice. Well, not quite nice, it's very nice, but I need to finish it off as part of a project, so he thought I would enjoy that, which I will. Ruth got me a Squishmallow, a mammoth, which is perfect. We actually seen a small one in a local shop, and she saw how excited I was about it, and she decided to get me a medium one, which now lives on the chair in the living room. The present from Mrs. Soup is apparently on its way. She was a bit sort of like postage yesterday, although she did give me a tiny little Cthulhu statue, like a jade looking little gummy almost looking stone, a really beautiful little thing, which will go with my Lovecraft stuff collection. Yeah, so I've had lovely things. I've had a couple of birthday cards, and that was nice. But yeah, I'm safe. How wonderful! Right, guys. As I say, this is much. It has been as much for me as a milestone, as something to look back on and to reflect on and to remember, to hopefully hold in my head. But hopefully you found it interesting at the very least. One of the things I love about, especially this YouTube channel, Soup's Eye View, is that I talk to you as though I'm talking to myself or to a friend, and I think I try to share something of my interests and my curiosity and my life lessons as a sort of, I don't know, a record of hopeful humanity, I guess is what I'm saying. So hopefully you have found something interesting here, or at the very least just been somewhat entertained by a story. Until next time, do take care, and I'll be talking about one of those other two topics in the next video. Bye bye.